Boker Tov. This is Rabbi Moshe Otero, Ways of Israel, and I want to thank everyone who have been helping us by your donations and contributions, keeping Ways of Israel up and at 'em, as it were. So thank you. A lot of blessings, a lot of strength to every one of you. We're going to continue our look at Sefer Haikkarim, and we are now still in the first book. And we're looking at chapter 14 in this morning's lesson. And we're looking at chapter 14 where Albo begins to explain the method of deriving the secondary principles from the three fundamental principles that he had mentioned previously. Now, he explained, and we will now explain, the method of deriving the secondary principles from these three fundamental principles, in order that we may be able to tell who is a denier and who is a believer. So here he begins to give us how we know a person is a denier of God, of the Creator, or a believer. We will observe in the first place that none of the commandments of the Torah should be counted as a principle, whether fundamental or derivative. A person who violates a commandment of the Torah is called a transgressor, and is liable to the penalty prescribed in the Torah for that commandment. But he is not excluded from those who profess the Torah, and is not regarded as a denier of the Torah, who has no share in the world to come, unless his violation of the commandment is due to the fact that he is in doubt whether it is a commandment of God given to Moses on Sinai or not. If this is his attitude, he falls into the class of those who deny the divine origin of the Torah. As the rabbis of the Talmud explains in chapter Helek, all commandments of the Torah are alike in this respect. The command to send away the mother bird is as important as any other. If we should count specific commandments as dogmas by the reason of the last consideration, we should have many principles as there are commandments. In other words, what he's saying, over 613 plus principles. Even if we restrict the term principles to those commandments which are based upon the three fundamental principles mentioned above, it would still follow that those commandments which are found in the treatise on idolatry and the foundation of the Torah and Maimonides' code are principles, for they are based upon the first principle, the existence of God. The truth of the matter is that none of the specific commandments of the Torah should be regarded as principles, fundamental or derived. It follows from this that the duty to worship God alone, which is in Maimonides' list, should not be counted as a principle, primary or secondary. For it is specific commandments. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee a graven image, nor any manner of likeness. Thou shalt not bow down unto them, nor serve them. Hence, a person who violates it is not a denier of the Torah or its principles, though he is guilty of the grave sin. The rabbis, it is true, that says that he who acknowledges beliefs in an idol is like one who denies the whole Torah. But the expression is significant. It is like one who denies, they say, not that he actually denies. Ahab is a good example. He was a worshiper of idols, and yet he did not deny the principle, for he believed Elijah and acknowledged that the rain was withheld because of Elijah's oath. For he said to Elijah, "It is thou, the troubler of Israel?" Now the explanation of his error in worshipping idols is either that he introduced a mediator between God and himself, or that he thought that God looked out only for the good and loyal like Elijah and other righteous men, whereas the rest of mankind, he thought, were subject to the incidental influences of heavenly bodies. Hence he made the statues and worshipped idols, in order by means through thereof he received the influence of the heavenly bodies. There is no doubt that the punishment of one who denies the fundamentals or derivative principles is not the same as one who violates one of the commandments of the Torah. Thus, as long as the Kuthian were ignorant of the Torah, and no doubt denied it, the lions devoured them. But as soon as they were taught Torah, they continued to worship idols. As the Bible testifies, the lions ceased to harm them. The same holds true of the punishment of the future, for God uses the scales and balances of justice to inflict punishment upon everyone according to the magnitude of his disobedience. The punishment of this world may be used as proof of the mode of punishment in the next world. As will be explained later, this may be shown too that the fact that our rabbis count among those who have no share in the world to come talebearers, those who separate themselves from the community, and those who humiliate his neighbor in public, even as they count heretics, Epicureans, and unbelievers. Now there is no doubt that the punishment of one who humiliates his neighbor is not the same as one who denies the Torah. In the same way, it follows the punishment of one who violates a commandment is not the same as one who denies a principle. So it's clear excuse me. So this may be shown from the fact that rabbis count among those who have no share in the world to come talebearers, those who separate themselves from the community, and one who humiliates his neighbor in public, even as they count them as heretics, the Epicureans and unbelievers. Now there's no doubt that the punishment of one who humiliates his neighbor is not the same as that who denies the Torah. In the same way as it follows that the punishment of one who violates a commandment is not the same as one who denies a principle, and it is clear, therefore, that none of the specific commandments of the Torah should be reckoned as principles or fundamentals or derived. Now from this same reason, tradition is not regarded as a principle under the head of revelation. By tradition, I mean the duty to follow what has been handed down by our ancestors and religious authorities, says Rabbi Albo. Such a duty is essential to derived law, but in specific commandments. The same reason would lead us to say that the doctrine of immutability of the Torah should not be reckoned as a principle of the second commandment, as Maimonides thinks. In reality, however, it's not a commandment, but an opinion, which is implied in the belief of the genuineness of the alleged divine messenger, as will be made clear in Book 3. The reason for the unity of God is regarded as a principle, though it's a specific commandment, is because in the unity it involves two things. Number one, the belief that there is one God and there is no second, or who is equal or similar to him. And number two, the belief that the necessarily existing being, that he is one and without plurality or composition whatsoever, is nonetheless our God. He is the cause of plurality of existing things. The first conception of unity is a principle derived from the existence of God. The second is specific commandment, which is given to us. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Now, according to Maimonides, who includes specific commandments among his principles, counting in his list the first of 10 commandments, I am the Lord thy God, which he interprets as a command to believe that there is a necessarily existent being. It is strange that the other principles are not mentioned in the 10 commandments. But according to our view, there is no difficulty here at all. For our idea is that there is no specific command is a principle. In other words, all of the mitzvot are not considered as a principle. And the first commandment, I am the Lord thy God, being a specific command, is not a principle. The meaning of it is what should believe that the same God who took us out from Egypt, from the house of bondage, gave us the Torah on Mount Sinai. On the first commandment may be the introductory of what comes after, that thou shalt have no other gods before me. And the meaning would be, since I cared for you and took you out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, you have no other gods before me, and you should not abandon my worship for the worship of another. Now, many authorities are of the opinion that the words, I am the Lord thy God, etc., are not part of 10 commandments, but an introductory of two commandments, which follows: Thou shalt have no other gods, and thou shalt make no thou shalt not make unto thee a graven image. The verse, Thou shalt not bow down unto them, nor serve them, is merely the explanation of the two. Their idea is that the reason of the verse, I am the Lord thy God, is placed at the head of the Ten Commandments, is to encourage believers by indicating that the divine providence inclines to the side of mercy. In other words, our God is a merciful God, even though the recipient is not worthy. Thus, God took care of Israel when they were in Egypt, worshipping idols, and took them out of the house of bondage for the merits of their fathers. This is the meaning of the concluding words, showing mercy unto thousands of generations of them that love me and keep my commandments. We may take it then as proved that a specific command is not reckoned as a principle. And here Albo ends chapter 14 of his book of Sefer Haikkarim, the book 1. Keep in mind there's more than 4 books here mentioned, and this is just the chapters of each book or subdivision. So in our next video, we're going to take a look at chapter 15, which he then takes a look at the secondary principle based upon the 3 principles that he has already mentioned here. And it's very fascinating, the logic behind Albo, that he is able to summarize the 13 principles of Maimonides to about 6. This is fascinating. So stay tuned, share this video with others, and remember to help support the ways of Israel. And you can do it so easily. Go there, click where it says donate, and we will get a receipt to you for your taxes. And I want to thank you for being part of what we're doing here at the Ways of Israel. Shalom, shalom, and have a wonderful rest of the week.